unavoidable.
Congratulations. You found the Twin Cities hit show.
Very well. Where do I begin?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Please for this one.
And now, a real hit show.
Weird things are happening. Strange things. Things that never happened before.
Live from the Twin Cities.
You must think I'm pretty stupid. I mean, you really think you can get some sexy chick to call up Luscious Legs Cunningham, come on with some real sweet talk, and you really think I'm going to buy that? You bought it. It looks that way, doesn't it?
It's the Twin Cities hit show.
Whatever it is, I got to snap out of this fast.
Let's get this hit show started.
This song is starting to catch on with me. I think I've heard it before.
It's a mashup, though. It's not just Helter Skelter.
Yes, but it's
Led Zeppelin mashed in there. How was the weekend, everyone?
oh, phenomenal.
Great, yes.
Good weekend?
Yep.
Valley Fair season passes. This kid
Oh.
had so much fun with my family. What a great time.
You're tall enough to ride all the rides?
No, I'm scared to death. I ride the kiddie
And
stuff.
then they let him watch the bags.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And you scare the kitties.
Here's the thing I have to remind myself every year. If I'm going to start my little yard work projects, there's a reason why I should take all my allergy pills and stuff before. So I'll sound extra husky for a bit.
You
because I did
sound
not do
sexy.
Sounds sultry.
that. I'm glad that somebody likes it because I'm like, I sound allergic. That's what I sound.
You should talk to Chuck. He's got the allergy stuff. Hey,
Yeah.
we got lots to get to.
Mhm.
A lot of stuff happening over the weekend. And if you haven't heard, it kind of was breaking on Thursday. But Denny Hastert, the longest-running Speaker of the House for the Republican Party, got in trouble. Here's what...
Dennis Hastert, better known as Denny Hastert, became the Speaker of the House after the 98 midterms. He served as Speaker of the House until the Democrats took back the majority in the House in 2006. Nancy Pelosi became Speaker. That tenure makes Denny Hastert the longest-serving Republican House Speaker ever. Plucked from obscurity to hold that incredibly high-profile job, and chosen for the job in part because he was so darn non-controversial, non-scandalous, as I say, squeaky clean. Today, Denny Hastert was indicted by a federal grand jury in what appears to be an elaborate hush money scheme, maybe a blackmail scheme.
And it's to the tune of $3.5 million.
Yeah.
Over how long was it again? Over years and years.
20-some years.
Yeah, well, there's still details that are coming out, but it sounds like this all dates back to when he was a high school teacher in the town of Yorkville, Illinois. We have on the phone, actually, one of a former student, Mike Pribble. You knew Denny Hastert, didn't you, Mike?
Yes.
And he was your wrestling coach and high school history teacher.
Yeah, he was the wrestling coach, and he was a history teacher for the time I was in school from 76 to 80.
And the town of Yorkville, how would you describe it? It's not a big town.
No, at the time the incident happened, it was about 2,000 people.
In the town?
It's about 20,000 now.
How many were at the high school? How many students at that time?
The whole school was up 200.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's why you made the wrestling team.
Yeah, it was a very small school, and everybody knows everybody there. And that's where we're sort of shocked right now.
So they're saying that back then that he was allegedly very, nice guy, didn't cause a lot of waves. Is that what you remember?
Yeah, he basically, as far as a teacher was concerned, he was very laid back. He wasn't, super aggressive. Back then, we used to watch 16mm movies. That was to be intense at the end of the day.
Everything to me right now is a euphemism. When you talk about movies, wrestling, all this stuff, like, ooh.
Wrestling, that was just, it was a sport that I tried out for about one season, and wasn't for me.
How was he as a coach? In his political career, they referred to him as a coach. How was he as a coach?
He was very, I don't want to say masculine, but he was a big dude. He was a big guy, very deep voice, very, if he wanted something done, people jumped. He was very, very,
Authoritative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
What's he?
but he was, you know, like a teddy bear too. He was very nice and wasn't, you know, he wasn't a yeller or, you know, anything like that.
Yeah. And as far as the town goes, he has to be like the big hero that to come out of Yorkville.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, his name is at the edge of Kendall County right now, just outside of town. I'm surprised the sign's still up there. I've heard this morning on the news locally that they're already taking his name down. Also,
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
How quickly things change.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, you know, I'm not sure, you know, the details, you know, I've read the indictment myself, but it's not good. You know, I'm not sure why he did what he did. What's the evidence back in 1976? The Polaroid camera?
Yeah. And they keep referring to this person as person A who's doing the blackmail, and you're thinking it's someone you went to school with.
Oh, absolutely. I think that the era that they're talking about is 1977, 79.
So this would have been one of your classmates.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you find yourself going through the yearbook going, was it him?
I do have her first name, and I did go through the yearbook. I got a couple.
Oh, jeez.
But I don't, right now, I don't really want to say anything.
Yeah, of course.
Get out there soon. There's people that know. And I think this has actually been hush-hush because he was such a, you know, such a clean-going guy, and I think a lot of people just kept this quiet. But, you know, it's just a surprise. Everybody's in shock.
And that does have to be tough if you're saying that he's kind of the town hero that you guys had, and now to fall to not just into disgrace, but such a terrible situation if that really is what happened.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the whole thing about it is there's just, you know, the FBI, he's got a paper trail.
Yeah.
On the transaction. And it's just, you know, whoa. I mean, common sense here. What are you doing? It's just, and unfortunately, when, you know, people can start making decisions very quickly when you got that kind of evidence, and it's right there in black and white.
Yeah.
Everybody can read it. So,
It's
808 transactions, you know.
Whoa.
It's amazing that he goes from, you know, small town hero to and all the things he was doing, and then becomes a pretty big political figure, and he's able to use what he did as a politician to cover up what he did as a guy before that. Now it all comes crashing down.
Right. I mean, if you think about where he made most of his money as in the lobbying game,
After
and just
office, yeah.
exactly, and just was really good at making deals, and getting things done. Then it kind of comes to light. It's like, oh, well, you've just been doing this for years. You're good.
Mike, what's the conversation like this weekend? Did you go out to the coffee shops or the grocery store? Is it the conversation all over town?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was everywhere from, supermarkets to, watering holes everywhere. It's just talk. It's just, there's people that are in denial. There's people that are like, oh my God, and then there's the people, hang them,
Wow.
Yeah.
Because he's sick,
Yeah.
Stuff like that. There's a lot of different things going on out there. I would say mostly just shock right now. It's just everybody's just walking around with their mouth open going, oh my.
Probably waiting for the rest of the details to come out.
Yeah.
And as I understand, he still lives in the area. He's got a big old house.
Oh,
and you ran
boy.
into him, a couple of years ago at an ice cream shop?
Yeah, back when he was still Speaker of the House, we pulled up to this ice cream shop, and there was like 6 black Suburbans.
Wow.
Yeah. Did he?
We're walking in to get ice cream, going, oh, what's going on? And then, he was in there, he recognizes you. He's from the small town, and, there wasn't a lot of us, but he does remember people, and that's what sort of made him special.
He remembered you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He came up and talked to you?
Oh, yeah.
They-
I
my-
was right behind him in line.
Mike, did it get weird when he offered you to sit in his van with him if you gave him the ice cream?
Come on.
And then the other thing, when he offered to buy your whole family, yeah, did he offer to buy your whole family ice cream to cover up the fact that he invited you
Yes.
into your van?
It's not that kind of a situation now.
Oh yeah.
So,
Before all this happened, we'll let you go. I know you got a busy work day. Do you want to give a shout out to your place of employment? Free commercial? No.
I don't know if they
No, we're nationwide. Hey, this show's heard all around the world. But before this happened, what was your fondest memory of Denny?
he's like, I didn't have any.
Basically wasn't really focused on classes. No, I did. I got like a plus.
Hey.
Final exam, and you needed so many credits to graduate. I was just barely underneath.
Oh.
And
He shoved me over the kid. He goes, "I don't want to see you back here."
so he did you a solid. That's nice.
See?
oh, that's that's nice. He did you a solid. He made sure you graduated from high school.
Yeah.
It was sort of, he knew I could do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, right now, it's a big shock thing right now. I don't want to call him a role model, but he was sort of what, he'd be in the parade in my little town I live in right now. I used to, be the Speaker of the House, literally fly to Yorkville and the little towns around town and be in the parade.
Wow.
Wow.
That was my first glance of ever seeing Secret Service at work. And literally, these guys would be surrounding the fire truck, the top of buildings. I was like, whoa.
Protecting the children, that kind of stuff. Form a ring around all the children, boys. Swarm. Eagle is out. Eagle is out.
Well, now we hope that your town becomes famous for something other than this, instead of scandal.
Yeah.
The weight falls on your shoulders, Mike. Go become the next hero out of Yorkville. All right. Hey, thanks for joining us on the Twin Cities Hit Show. All right?
All right, thanks, everybody.
All right, good talking to you. Work hard today. So, can you imagine? I mean, not just a town, but a small town hero.
That this is the guy. He's the one that you put your cape on, kind of thing.
I have two stories that are amazingly parallel to this, and they were both big newsmakers. But when I was, the first one, when I was an undergrad at St. Thomas, my first responder instructor was a paramedic, deacon in the church, sheriff's deputy lieutenant, volunteer deputy lieutenant. I wish I could form sentences. But he was he ended up being like one of the most prolific arrests for child molestation up until that point. This was 1988. And it's weird because I had a vibe from the guy even as I took his class. And he'd have all these guys returning. I mean, 19, 20-year-olds. And just weird groupies around his first responder class. But so he went away for a long time. And I remember him being a big thing on the news. And then the bigger one that came up when I did my graduate program, also at St. Thomas, the instructor I had, and probably the best instructor I had, is the guy's name is Bill Jacobs. And he went on to be the police chief of the Minneapolis Park Police. And he was also charged. He started molesting kids when he was a teacher at Blake. They kept moving him around while he was at Blake. Then he moved into some different positions and ended up going to police work and kept getting promoted. But he also got charged with molesting a number of kids at a cabin up north. And he's now serving a life sentence for that.
Life sentence?
Wow. Yeah, well, it becomes a life sentence. It might be, 10 to 20 or whatever, but he was 65 probably when he was convicted.
And from what I understand, they love child molesters in prison.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, no, that's the other way around.
Yeah, I think that's not how that works. Pretty much, it's a life sentence because you can't get out. We've only had one person, I think, released from
we need to make clear, there has been no official accusation against Denny Hastert yet.
Right.
But
they're still investigating.
Evidence seems to lean in the direction that this hush money, as Mike pointed out, is going to a student from that high school. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's too bad.
Yeah.
He fits the profile exactly of these other two fellows I know. Just, same look, same feel that comes off, right? But the same look, the same kind of reports from people who knew them. Just, a role model, a super nice guy, remembered you. Bill Jacobs was one of the best teachers I had. He really was a really good teacher. He cared about what he did. But it's weird how they all have this undercurrent of evil. It's crazy.
Well, Mike said no one felt any evil vibe off of Denny. No. I mean, and they all believed he was this great guy. So.
Right.
And I guess that was his personality in Washington as well. After Newt Gingrich, Denny brought the two sides closer together instead of further apart. And they did call him Coach in Washington because it was such a Jimmy Stewart type story. Yeah. You go from a wrestling small-town high school history teacher to third in line for the presidency. If the president and vice president, and as I understand it, if they both die, Speaker of the House takes over.
And just, the deals that he was able to make, kind of thing, and just, put these partnerships together from a lobbying standpoint.
Yes.
There's a reason why he has money to be able to do all of this hushing.
He made all that money. And then the thing that tripped him up, I guess, was the amount of money he was taking out of the bank to give to this
Yeah.
blackmailer that alerted the FBI because he wasn't declaring it. If you take more than $10,000 out at one time, you have to explain yourself, Lucy.
Yep.
And he was not explaining himself.
Wow.
So the FBI came a knocking and said, dude,
Where's all that money going?
where's all this money going? What is up?
You know what's interesting is this probably got started. This whole thing probably started with a compliance investigator at a bank, and their job is to watch for suspicious activity
Right.
and file what they call SAR. They give it to the feds, and exactly if $10,000 is transferred, they know that. So what they do is it's called structuring, where they build it just under $10,000.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
And he had this has been going on for years and years. So he's been structuring $9,999 deposits to this guy.
Well, and as I understand it, the money actually didn't start happening, I believe, until 2010.
Was it that late? I thought it was even earlier, but yeah, you might.
So it's weird that this person came out of the shadows after all these
Yeah.
years.
Right, and said, but I'm okay with money,
Yeah.
and this is,
Yeah.
here's the price tag.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
There's
Well,
so many details to follow, but yeah.
I wonder who else is a victim, because I think this is just the
Well,
beginning.
here's Rachel Maddow. We'll let her continue. I think I still have her going on what's happening with this.
BuzzFeed was first to report this indictment today, and although apparently there had been rumors in Washington for a few weeks that Denny Hastert was maybe in some kind of legal trouble, for most people, the news late today came as a bolt from the blue. And the indictment is short. It's only 7 pages. I put that 2 pages to the sheet, so for me it's even shorter. It's only 7 pages, but it's a really, really dramatic and really mysterious indictment. What it describes is a series of meetings that happened between some unnamed person and Denny Hastert starting in 2010. Now, in 2010, Denny Hastert had already left Congress.
Good job, Rusty.
Well, allegedly, this person, starting in 2010, this person confronted Denny Hastert about some kind of past misconduct. Past misconduct by Denny Hastert against this individual. Misconduct that had occurred, quote, years earlier. Quote from the indictment. During the 2010 meetings and subsequent discussions, defendant J. Dennis Hastert agreed to provide individual A with $3.5 million in order to compensate for and conceal his prior misconduct against individual A. Now, at no point in this indictment do we learn who individual A is. We don't know if individual A is a man or a woman. We also do not learn what the alleged past misconduct is, for which Denny Hastert allegedly agreed to pay $3.5 million in hush money and compensation for whatever it is he supposedly did.
So that's where it stands now, but
Right.
here we go Monday. There'll probably be details coming up all this week. I actually heard that this person was identified as a male, so I don't know if that's new information or false information, but we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
These are tough.
I don't sit there, even if it's somebody that's not particularly my same style of politics, I don't sit there and just wait for these falls from grace and things like that, especially when it's something that might involve children or something, or some transgression like that. So
I must admit to a certain amount of glee when the far-right people who protest anti-gay the most and pass legislation the most turn out they're sending naked pictures of themselves to gay websites.
That, I do feel
like
different.
those
If it's adult versus adult situations, if it's one of those things that you are hiding who you are, I think that's different. Like I do have a lot less sympathy for somebody. It's like if you can't accept who you are and decide to go on a dating website and then you get caught, then yes, that's totally different.
And beyond that, the hypocritical shouting down of another person's lifestyle and passing legislation against gay lifestyle and being this vocal Pat Robertson type, Bible thumping, guess what? I am gay. So I hate myself, and that's why I'm damaging your life.
That I do see as frustrating. But when you are in a position of power and you use it for towards younger people and people that are trusting you, that's when I'm like, that just tears at me.
And Denny Hastert never was a campaigner for anti-gay anything.
Right.
He's just, he's just a simple child molester. Maybe.
I hope
maybe.
not. I really hope
maybe. We don't know that. Yeah, I hope not. Well,
it frightens me that my 10-year-old, and they talk about a lot at school, uses the word pedophile. He knows what it is. Yeah.
Wow.
But you know what? And then on the other hand, maybe the awareness is a good thing because he understands what a pedophile is.
They were taught that in class?
I think, how 10-year-olds get. And now they have access to all sorts of social media, and as much as you try and keep track of it, it will not happen.
Or if they hear a friend say it, then you do have to kind of
Yep.
address it now because you don't want them using it incorrectly either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, as long as we're all sad and depressed about politics,
Right.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to our vice president.
Oh, yes.
This morning, we're waiting for word on funeral arrangements for Vice President Joe Biden's oldest son. Beau Biden was Delaware's former attorney general who was planning to run for governor. The 46-year-old father of two died Saturday of brain cancer.
And this was a good-looking man with a beautiful wife and beautiful kids, the Americana dream, and that cancer. We gotta beat this frickin' cancer.
Yeah.
We gotta get the cure.
Yeah.
Well, watch the haters too. Oh, good. They'll say, so what? I bet there's stuff. So what? He deserved it. He's a horrible vice. I mean, leave it out of it. Feel bad for the guy.
And Joe
Yeah,
Biden.
he's had a very tragic life.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Joe?
if you go back to the situation when it was his wife and his 13-year-old daughter who were killed in that crash, just as he began his career in politics.
Right.
In fact, his son was hospitalized as well. Both his sons were hurt quite badly.
Right.
And Joe was sworn in as senator at his son's hospital bedside.
Because he wouldn't, he was going home every day,
Mm-hmm.
as he began his tenure to make sure that he could stay with. I think they were like 4 and 5 at the time at the beginning of his career.
Was Beau one of the guys who was...
He was in the car at the time.
Okay, here's so here's my take, and this is my fear. How much radiations I've had zapped through my body. You can't help but wonder if he was, in intensive care and he was messed up. Talking about Beau, if all the medical intervention didn't somehow, all the radiation, all that stuff. I'm waiting. I know I glow.
There's so much stuff in this environment with the fracking and the whatever and the this and the that and the cell phone to your head and the who knows. But
right.
Hopefully we continue to make strides in the cure for cancer. Supposedly we're so close.
I saw some stories about that come out again today that they really are still coming across and things like that. So
now if they could just find a cure for... Secretary of State broke his leg on a bicycle.
Oh, yes, I know.
We gotta cure those damn bicycles now.
Proving that he's just as bad at biking as he is at diplomacy.
No.
John Kerry broke his leg.
I think he's fine. But he's a spry dude for 71.
He's a windsurfing,
for 71.
competitive biking son of a gun.
Because he had just gotten a hip replacement last year, soon-ish, recently, kind of thing. So, he's always biking, so it's not like all of a sudden he's like, hey, I'm going to give this a shot.
Right. But man, the extent of his injury, here's the moment of what they're going to do. They're going to have to medevac him to the States. Listen.
Morning. Well, Secretary Kerry is expected to make a full recovery and is said to be in good spirits. He's been making phone calls from his hospital bed and even took one on Sunday from President Obama.
No, I'm not going to accept that call.
His right thigh bone after
Oh.
and tumbled off of his
Ow.
He was taken by helicopter to the main hospital in Geneva, and he remained there overnight for observation. Today, we know his Boston-based surgeon is en route to Geneva to accompany
So that's
Kerry
today.
on a medical transport plane so that he can be treated at home in Massachusetts.
Wow. Now, I wonder why Geneva doesn't have the
I'm
ability
presuming
to fix
that
a
they
phone.
do. I'm sure that they could do it there, but the recovery process is going to take so long. So it
Oh.
seems like you would probably want to transport him. And I'm just filling the blanks. You'd want to
Yeah,
transport him
okay.
if he's going to have surgery. Then let him have his surgery, and then not put him on on a plane after he does it.
That's true. I just can't help, if coming from the law enforcement perspective, can't help feel for those poor what agency is it? The diplomatic security special agents who have to suit up in Lycra with machine guns tucked into their shorts and follow them on these bike races. And I was watching as the footage shows them going. Okay, which one of you is the agent? Which is the agent? It's hard to bike with your ear, your finger to your ear with that little headphone and one hand on the handlebar.
Didn't they have little glitter coming off their handlebars and a little ringer thing if there was an emergency?
Ding, ding, ding,
Emergency! Emergency!
Eagle is down. Eagle is down.
Well, at least they kept him very safe from everyone else. He hurt himself. No one else actually took a shot at him.
That's a hard bone to break, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I think what happened is he was taking a curve, wasn't he? And it's the perfect rescue. Just same way I broke my shoulder, just a freak accident. And
he hit the curve.
Oh.
Tracy Morgan speaking out for the first time this morning on the Today Show. Here's a bit. Oh, hold on one second.
Welcome to the geriatric episode of the Twin Cities Show.
Not geriatric.
No.
I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm in front of you. I can't believe I'm just seeing the tragedy that happened. It kind of It touches me.
Give me a sense of what the last year's been like for you emotionally, Tracy.
It's been
fun.
Up and down. I have my family. I have my wife, Megan. We're about to be married. And my daughter and my son. So they keep my spirits up. And then I have Ben and Matt Frost and Mark Landsman and all these people that help me get my spirits up. And Tina Fey and all the people calling me. They just help me get my spirits up. I mean, the case is settled, but the pain is always going to be there for Jimmy Mack. This is a close friend of mine, a comrade in comedy. He was a loving man.
James McNair.
Good man. That's just what you need to see that he's going. That's it.
Can I ask you to take me back to June of last year, Tracy, and that accident? I
don't remember the accident. I just remember when I came to, Megan, my fiance was right there, my son was right there, and Mark was right there, and Ben was right there, and that's basically what I remember.
Wow. He's had a significant brain injury.
After dealing with that severe brain trauma that he had to deal with.
He said he's going to go back to performing. He said he's not ready, but that he will go back to comedy. And that he's not done. He just needs to get feeling better. He does have a cane in this interview.
Right.
He did tear up. You can see the tears on his cheeks.
This reminded me so much of what I went through with my deal. I not turn into the Chuck Show. Well, it's the Chuck Show.
That's
it's a third of the Chuck Show. But I did not remember my crash. And I remember underestimating now he was way worse in all aspects, but underestimating my brain injury and thinking, I can get through this.
Isn't it partly where it's one of those things that part of the injury is that you sometimes can't understand or can't register how injured you are.
Right.
I mean, it's not like you're sitting going, I can see a cut on my finger. I know exactly how bad this cut is. I've been seriously injured, and it's my brain that tells me that I'm injured. So understandable.
And he couldn't walk. He was wheelchair bound for a long time. So it was just a year ago, June, that he had the accident, and he's still not recovered.
Well, just look at the way he processes things. And he was prepping. He is really slow. He's got a little bit of a stutter. I know he's always kind of had a weird way of talking anyway, but he's really it's significant. That poor guy.
And to lose your friend, it was his coworker, his friend, his fellow comedian, but that's like family. When you're touring with people that, and especially in a comedy, we're a big dysfunctional family. So when he says, I really can believe that he's saying that was, it's. Yes, they're just friends, but sometimes it's so much more than that when you're on the road for long periods of time like that with these same people.
Well, it's funny you mentioned, when you cut your finger, you know what you've got. Did you hear about Enrique Iglesias?
Yes.
An example of, how these drones are becoming so freaking popular. And I'm not talking about the drones for the military. I'm talking about the camera drones that every hobby photographer has now.
Yes. Extreme sports people use them to follow them along when they're doing
stalkers use them.
No, stop it. So Enrique Iglesias was performing in Mexico, I believe. And during his performance, there were some drones that were being used in the venue, and he ended up smacking into one with his finger.
Didn't he reach out to grab it?
Yeah,
he wanted to get his close-up, Mr. DeMille?
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
Fingers went into the blades.
Yes.
Okay, I saw San Andreas this weekend, so I have a very firm grasp of how helicopters work now. And that is reality based. So you don't do that. That's all I know.
Well,
that's my takeaway.
For instance, there are some other performers that are talking about using drones inside the venue, and they have to get special permits and things like that. But I think it's just another example of people think it's really easy to hang around these radio control devices, and it is not. People are like, I'll just get one, and my kid will have one. There's all kinds of random injuries that happen with these things all the time.
I wondered about that, because they're, exposed helicopter blades, and typically there's like 4 of them to balance it out. So you have 4 opportunities to slice your finger.
4 opportunities. I don't look upon that as good technology. I look upon that as 4 opportunities to lose a limb.
He went backstage, Enrique damaged himself in some fashion, but then continued with the show, and the photos on the internet, blood continues to flow. At one point, his white shirt is so covered with blood, he tries to draw a heart, the caption said.
He's like, I'm hardcore. I'm very hardcore.
In his own blood. It's like, no, dude, go lay down. Come back when you're ready.
We're going to take a short break while Enrique reattaches his finger. Entertain yourselves with a
Yeah,
drone.
it is. It doesn't. The heart did not translate. You are
No,
correct. The
it's a
heart
mess.
looks really gross.
It's a bloody ketchup-y mess. We got lots more to talk about. We are going to take a break here to reattach Chuck's brain. And then there's news from Kim and Kanye.
Yes.
There's news from
thank you.
them. There's news from Garth Brooks. There's news from, I don't know if you guys remember Steve and Sharon. I did a boat ride with good company.
Saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, so lots to talk about when we come back. We're going to take a break.
It's thinking it's here.
Chuck.
What?
There's a stack of batteries right there too.
Oh, there. Well, now it's staying connected. I haven't had a problem.
I noticed that. I was like, oh wait, there's a lot of batteries.
Thank you.
out there. You're welcome.
All my bitching paid off.
Our guy is asking how he did. I think he did great.
I thought he was fantastic.
Very
Yeah, he was
good.
fantastic.
Yeah, except Rusty, I thought he was a victim. So I've been tweeting victim.
Oh
So
no.
I had to erase all the tweets and get it corrected. But oh well, maybe we baited people.
Oh, no, you can bait it.
Switch.
Yeah. You could put victim in quotes.
Well, we're all victims as a society. I said alleged victim.
Did you say it? Oh, he was then.
Yeah, he was just at the school.
Yeah.
The Alive and Social Network is alive and growing. From the best in sports, music, movies.
See, normally I'm a dullard, but right now that I'm going on, I'm just fucking stupid. So good luck working with me.
Featuring characters like Radio
You'll
Rebel
be
Jim
fine.
Star Tribune pundit Jim Suhan, Unfiltered.
We need to
And
update
television
this spot.
The only reason it's still okay is because all his files are still on the show.
Ah, fair enough. You're
So you
right.
can still check out the Jim Suhan show.
Okay.
Join the band.
And you can still check out Jeff Dubay if you so are inclined.
Yeah. If you
But I
want
will
to
be
hear.
changing that.
Well, we need to do some other spots too. I mean, just in general, and some of the do spots for our other sponsors we should sit on. Chart us.
Yeah, yeah.
If nothing else, to make it more interesting on breaks.
And I want to talk to them and say, I'll do a commercial, but if they have stuff they want me to talk about.
Yeah. Well, that's why. Remember Christine there at Grass? She wants to promote her husband's business, and I'm like, yeah, let's record something. I need the airtime. So,
And tell me what it is, you need to say.
yeah. So he was in the middle of tax season. He didn't want to deal with it, but I part himself in 5 times.
Like, for a chart house, it's a house with a chart on the lake.
There's a boat.
There's a boat.
There's a boat.
And I know some, if we want fresh voices, I know some people do voiceover who do it for free because they just want to practice.
Well, are they good? Because I had a guy who would want to do that and he sucked.
No,
So
they're good.
Oh, yeah.
They're good. And Shannon knows people. But I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I just want to hear some new voices on our commercial.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I heard your fucking voice, Rusty, is what I'm trying to tell
Or
you.
I'll voice someone. if you
Yeah.
want. I'm happy to voice.
Review.com, part of the Alive and Social Network.
Here we go.
You're listening to the Twin Cities Hit Show. See you every time.
All right, so do we need to explain those tweets that you sent out?
Yeah. Yeah.
A commercial break,
Yeah.
some interesting conversation.
Well, what I thought was that we had interviewed the President of the United States, who was a victim of sexual assault.
Our first
Yeah.
guest this
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike Pribble was not a victim.
No, and
He
I
went to the.
I-
He had the guy Denny Hastert as a teacher. That's it.
Mhm.
He just knew him.
I fixed that, so I apologize.
Well, just for anyone who saw those tweets,
Yeah.
there are no
Don't
victims
hit up this
yet.
guy.
Bait
Y'all
and
like,
switch.
hey.
You love our show now. Bait and switch. We're also going to introduce probably the one of the Wright brothers will be on after the break. The pioneers in aviation.
I'm glad that you mentioned that you did that because
Yeah.
otherwise we used to have been all confused later. Like what?
Imagine if, because we do have listeners in Illinois. Can you imagine if someone started consoling Mike?
They're all showing up.
I
I'm
know.
ready to hear about what
Well,
happened to
that's
And
what-
Rusty, you were all like, "Hey, do you want to shout out your business? You
Yeah.
might have been rushing over there going, do you
Well,
want some therapy?
That's
Can I
what
help out?"
weirded me out because he started out with it. I hope you're wearing pants. I'm like, he's a victim of
That
sexual
was-
assault.
on the air when you just
I
said
know.
no one heard that.
I
Your
know.
tweets, everyone
Yeah.
saw.
Well, I'm tweeting out that you asked a victim of sexual assault if
It
you wear
did
pants.
not happen.
Totally inappropriate.
Did not
Rusty.
happen. So yesterday was fun. On a Sunday afternoon, we were lazing on the St. Croix River. I got an email that kind of came out of the blue from Steve Edelman, who I worked with for 11 years. Steve
Now, remind me who they are, because I think they were a big deal before I moved here.
Yeah,
Powerhouse. That was before I
for
moved
11
here.
years, they were the Regis and Kelly, except they are a husband and wife team.
Mm-hmm.
This was... So they had been hits in this market twice. They first arrived as a live morning show.
Okay.
And he hired Sharon Anderson to be his co-host. She was an actress at the Old Log Theater, doing some work here in town.
And at some point, there was a love connection.
Then they fell in love on the air. So the viewers got to watch this romance happen.
Oh.
They get engaged. They get married. They go to do a syndicated show because they were deemed very popular with viewers. So they got a syndicated show. But the syndicated show separated them. They were doing their own stories in different parts of the country. And they said, no, we're not liking this.
Okay.
So they approached Hubbard Broadcasting and said, can we come back as a team? And they said, yeah, come on back. And that's when they launched Good Company. And that was launched in 1982 and was on the air for 12 years.
That's a huge run.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were featured in Fargo even.
Yeah, they are. They're playing characters,
Yeah.
but they're basically playing themselves in the movie Fargo.
Yeah.
They cut away to a TV for a moment, and Steve and Sharon are there talking.
Gotcha.
Well, and here's my claim to fame with Edelman. They redid my kitchen. Steve Edelman redid my kitchen.
When Good Company went off the air, he was a pioneer in the grabbing onto a new burgeoning home garden channel,
Gotcha.
HGTV.
Mm-hmm.
No one were like, oh, that's good luck with that. And bam, became a huge success. Had multiple shows on the remodeling series and
A
the
lot
home
of those were
improvement
filmed here,
series. Yeah, because of
I
Edelman.
tried out for a couple of
A.B.
hosts once
Matthews.
again, did not make it. Yeah, kind of thing.
They were shot here because of Edelman.
Okay.
Edelman Productions. He had
Mhm.
offices in Minneapolis and San Francisco, and he ran that. And then the shows went to the History Channel, and he had shows on Discovery Channel,
DIY Network.
It branded out for not just home improvement. He made another bigger empire with Edelman Productions, and then he has since sold that out. And so now he's just a guy with a brand new,
really nice boat,
with a brand new beard. And he said, "I want to take." So it was fun to see Gary Lumpkin for folks who used to watch the show. Kevin Berger was there.
Oh, wow.
All the old producers. A lot of those producers would leave Good Company to go to Oprah. And 5 producers ended up going to the Oprah Winfrey Show and having long careers with the Oprah Winfrey Show. So it was fun to get together and,
So it was just a barbecue on the lake for you guys?
Yeah, he had
That's
it catered
fun.
and float down to St. Croix. They used to have a cabin at Marine on St. Croix. They were in town for some event at St. Olaf because they still live in San Francisco. But they said, hey, as long as we're in town, what are you up to? And what are you up to? And what are you up to? So we get to this thing and it's, fully catered, bartenders.
See, what I did this weekend was not anything that was nearly as classy as what you did.
It was great.
Yeah.
And it was difficult to, not take inventory going, did not age well? Did not age well. Because I'm sure I fell into the did not age well.
Oh,
Rusty.
How
I
the
won't
hell
hear
did
a
he
word
get
of
that
it.
gorgeous wife?
Oh, gee.
A lot of people going, that's his wife.
What I did
that
this
gorgeous
weekend,
daughter.
It was not near, I can't compare at all. I went to my friend, he's part of his gay softball league, had a beer bust at the saloon.
Nice.
And so I went to the saloon and participated in the fundraiser that they have for their traveling team. And my friend has
His softball team.
His softball team, and he is
How are gay people as softball players? Is that,
outstanding. Well, you still have to keep it back. No, okay. And
it was fabulous.
And the thing is, because my friend, he's a dear friend of mine, but if you were going to go by those stereotypical gender roles, he would be the girl in the relationship. I'm a little more aggressive and macho than he is.
I'm a little more.
And so when I saw him, and that's totally how he is. He's a big gay cheerleader. He's adorable. I filled in sometimes on the team, kind of thing. And so in my head, because I'm, for a woman, I'm very aggressive. When I play
You were
sports,
like
I get
a
very
CrossFit
competitive.
trainer type.
Yes, exactly. So I forget that even though he is cheerleadery, he is still a grown man.
Yeah.
And so when they play, it's still a 6'4",
Oh.
240 guy hitting a ball.
Oh.
And so when they hit, it zings. And so it's so funny because I know him in both lives. And so part of what they're doing at this beer bus is that he and a couple of the other guys, they also have some other performance skills. And so a lot of them have done drag. And so he's a veteran drag, a burgeoning drag performer as well.
What's his drag character's name?
Cookie Crocker.
Oh.
He is. If you yes, there's a Betty Crocker tie-in because he likes.
Chuck, if you date Cookie Crocker,
yes,
she's actually a dude.
I'll show you pictures because he actually did
if
very
I
well.
date
He's got
him or her again, she is actually.
And he was teasing, he's like, girl, I don't know how you wear those 6-inch heels all the time. So he's a huge drag queen.
Wow.
I mean, huge in that he's already 6 foot, and then he's wearing these 6 foot
I wonder if
heels.
his demeanor changes when he gets up to that. Like, I'm great, I'm about to be out. I'm gonna crush this ball. So,
Kind of not.
Where did that come from?
But then they're actually a really good team. Like they go to nationals often, so it was a fun time. But it was not hanging out on a boat that's fully catered. It was, hey, here's some beer and some raffle tickets. So.
Thank you, Stephen Sharon.
Yes.
It was a wonderful boat ride. Well, I don't know if they're registered at Kmart or Target, but Kim and Kanye are pregnant again.
They announced on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh, thank God.
Now,
of course, the internet went wild with all the easy jokes, kind of thing. Like, are you going to name this one South? Is it going to be South by Southwest? Because the first one was going North. They can't name it South. At least go East. It can be East and North or whatever, kind of thing.
What I found most disturbing, I can't find the article now, was reading the article. She was like, we've been trying for a year, like aggressively, like doing it every day.
She mentioned that on the show.
Gross.
That was one of the topics on the show that they were...
It was so much more fun the first time.
They were actively trying to have a baby, and they talk about it on the show. And, and again, as girls hear them talk about it, and her trying to find, discuss different positions and how to do it. So all this stuff, that's what they do on that show. So, I mean, that's another family of famous just for being famous.
And they've already said big sister, so they're already saying this one's a girl. They're giving that up. The article I read said North is going to have a big sister.
That's backwards.
Way north. We'll call that Arctic.
Because North is the baby they have, so little sister, or North. So you must have read that North is going to be a big sister.
There you go.
Okay, then it would make sense. So North is going to be a big sister. They don't know. Yeah, so no, that's so this is a new
if
thing.
North is the big sister, then
my brain injury.
Right.
Welcome to the club, Alex.
So North is their current child. That's why everybody's saying, are they going to name the younger one South or East
South
or
like Equator maybe. It's just kind of a baseline.
But I mean, it's just, and they're obviously keeping busy. There are now also stories in the Jenner family that Kylie Jenner, the younger one, that Kanye is going to help her produce an album. Now she wants to be a singer. So we'll see how that goes. So they're managing to keep each other busy.
Well, I mean, Kanye is a hell of a producer, but hopefully he has the ability to go, yeah, no, that's awful.
He'll try and fix them.
If my name is going to be attached to this, yeah.
Because
we're going to have to auto-tune your auto-tune.
Right.
Real bad.
If anybody can make a non-singer sound good, it would be Kanye West. Yes.
And then there's interesting news in the world of Garth Brooks. Did you hear about this?
No, what happened with Garth?
Garth Brooks is being effed up by the Stanley Cup playoffs.
What?
He was scheduled to perform, let me get this, in Tampa, Florida. And the Rays made it to the playoffs for the Stanley Cup and have taken over his stadium.
Were they just presuming that they weren't going to make it? And when they booked it, they were like, that'll never happen.
What are the odds of the Stanley Cup ever coming here? So, on the behalf of the Garth Brooks World Tour with Trisha Yearwood, it is with deep regret that we must cancel the Tampa shows due to the unexpected scheduling by the NHL and NBC on June 6th for the Stanley Cup Final.
I wonder who's more mad, because there's a lot of Garth Brooks fans out there. Are there more Garth Brooks fans in Tampa than there are?
He had to cancel. Multiple shows
because he normally has 4 or 5, at least like 4 or 5 shows in a row, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if that number outweighs it, or if people are still happy for the Rays.
He had to cancel 2 shows on Sunday. He does an afternoon and evening show. He's got the Vegas thing in his blood. So 2 shows got canceled. They say they will try and reschedule, but right now they're just refunding. And no word if they're even able to get back to Tampa to reschedule.
Fair enough. He does have a very, I mean, it's not like he's just sitting around with one show at a time.
Poor Garth Brooks.
Poor Garth Brooks fans. I'm sure Garth's like, oh, okay. I'm sure if you're a fan, that's what I'm saying. It's like, now do we have competing fans? So now are the Garth Brooks fans going to go out there and be all mad at all the hockey people?
In a scenario, because I've wondered, if the Rolling Stones were scheduled to play Target Field instead of TCF Stadium at the end of the summer, or say this fall, and it became, nope, the Twins are in the World Series, the Stones have got to cancel. I'd be like, I don't know how I feel now. I've got tickets to the long-awaited Rolling Stones concert, but God damn it, the Twins are in the World Series.
I don't know. Maybe I feel slightly different. I'm not a big Rolling Stones fan, but I feel like that is a more historic thing because they're so old. Like Garth, you could probably get back around to seeing Garth.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some people, they're like, this might be my last shot.
Yeah.
Something could go wrong.
Yeah.
A hip may be broken.
Right. Right now, I don't think there's any competition for TCF Stadium this Wednesday except the forecast.
Fair enough,
and
yes.
That's going to piss me off. If it starts raining and Keith's knees can't take it or Mick's hip can't
his
take it.
His rheumatoid arthritis
or
something.
No, we're going to cancel. So I'm going to have Patrick Hammer in pocket.
And knowing them, they're pretty rock and roll. It'd have to rain pretty bad.
I don't know.
It would be an equipment issue that would cancel it more than it would them, I think.
I think Keith Richards would melt if he got wet. I think he would,
but that would be fun
like
to watch.
The Wicked Witch.
Wouldn't you like to be at that show where and then a raindrop hit him and he just melted like a sugar cube?
The U2 concert, the lightning started halfway through the concert and then it started raining and it became epic.
Yeah.
Because they blazed right through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like a giant music video. Seeing the rain come down, it was like an effect. And Bullet the Blue Sky, and suddenly lightning lights up the sky.
Yeah,
and you're like, wow.
Until it's a safety issue or an equipment issue, a lot of these bands sound like they'll just, the hardcore ones will just power through.
What could possibly be safe about all the electric instruments, high-powered lights, and tents?
One of the best halftime shows, in my opinion, ever was Prince. And when he broke into Purple Rain, it started raining.
Right, you're like, how did they plan that?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Proof that God loves Prince.
He started playing Purple Rain, and the rain started happening. I'm still praying for no rain this Wednesday. And by the way, he is booked. Patrick Hammer will be on the show Wednesday.
Lovely.
And to break
his
news,
big announce.
It is official. Is he staying? Is he going? Where is he going if he is going?
Drum roll and dramatic music.
I know there's a lot of folks that love Patrick Hammer and they want him to stay in town. He's going to let us know if he's got a gig in town or if he, in fact, is leaving.
Aww.
So that's coming up on Wednesday. Do you have anything from the weekend?
I shared my big story.
Yeah.
That was it. My beer buzz story. That was
the Marshmallows pulled their 3rd win in
a
row.
Cute.
Yeah. This is another blowout. The Marshmallows were, I believe, 4-3. They've had some pretty big victories on the soccer field in Lakeville. And, of course, the Ravens brought one home with 2 games. So,
what about the World of Crime, Chad?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh, God, I forgot. I was so focused on my kids. I forgot there was a world out there. Did you hear about this? For those of you that are doing stalking, if you're interested in sending penis pics, any of that stuff, now's the time to do it. This is really a good time. Because, did you hear? The Patriot Act didn't renew.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so you have about 3 days before those weasels figure out how to get the Patriot Act up and running. They can no longer do passive surveillance on everyone in the world and scoop up all that data. So hurry up.
We have a window of penis picture
that
we can do.
What I'm doing, of course, I'm not planning terrorist attacks, but this would be a good time to do that. Like I said, dirty pics, anything you don't want out there and you don't want the NSA to see, get it done, guys. This is a freebie.
I'm totally fine with that. I've never received any of those, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I might do man boob and penis pictures this week.
Oh, hello. If they're not connected, because that gets kind of weird, androgynous sort of.
Yeah.
That might work.
So the Senate packed up.
You guys have Sean Bernard's number, right? I gotta text him some junk.
Yeah. Do the tank top side boob.
Oh yeah.
So be a little intimate. Exactly the little side boob.
I've got nice stretch marks on my side boobs right now, so it's not good. The Senate packed up Sunday evening without extending the expiring surveillance provisions of the Patriot Act, meaning that for now, at least, the U.S. intelligence community is without tools that it says are vital to national security, including the National Security Agency's bulk collection of U.S. call data. So this is the controversial part of it, where they've been just scooping up everything, sorting through it at their leisure later on. It looks like this should be renewed probably in the next 2 days, but they walked away, and I think you know how politics work. They're using this as a bit of a tactic to say, look, we're unprotected. We got to figure this out. You need to come to the table. Let's negotiate. Let's get this done.
I got to admit, I've tried to wrap my head about this argument and what's happening, and I get lost in the details. I know, what's his name? Rand Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got his filibuster of why he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's holding it up. Yeah.
And the fellow Republicans say, not cool. That's not how we feel.
Right.
And the President Obama, he's got he wants it to get renewed.
Yes,
right.
but he's being very vague on things too. Like, we just need it.
Yeah. Well, here's why it's vague. Section 215, which is the controversial part, says the government, spies, and law enforcement professionals can seize, quote, any tangible thing.
I just am such a, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. I just kind of figure that we overshare so much anyway that them digging through what you have, anybody can dig through what you have. Unless you're a hermit and you live in a cave and stay offline. A lot of this information is public knowledge now. It is pretty much, I get the privacy experts and I don't want people digging in my crap. But I'll tell you what, there's so much out there that there's bound to be stuff out there. I'm not worried if the NSA is scooping up my stuff in some bulk scoop. I don't care if you guys look through it and you're really interested in my private text message or a phone call to my mother. Okay, go ahead. Really? Yeah, I'm of the same opinion. It does feel unseemly to have people going through your private things. It does. But it's like, you're really not going to find shit in my text. Exactly. Yeah. So there might be, I figure by the time they get around to looking through my boring stuff, like, look, she sent another cat video. I mean, there's not anything in them. Yeah. So. But it still feels wrong, and it is a slippery slope. Well, if they can do that, then what prevents them from knocking your doors down at 2 a.m. just because? Yeah. Well, I'm concerned that they're going to Photoshop my piece. Well, I didn't think that anything was going to prevent them from doing that anyway. I mean, if they're going to come, you can complain afterwards, but how are you going to say that, it's illegal, but if they're going to come get you, aren't they just going to come get you? But to have the random invasion of your house just because we heard maybe kind of sort of you were doing something wrong. Right. Oh, our bad, I guess not. Right. That definitely feels wrong. And then, of course, all the folks down in Texas who are afraid the military exercises are about one big giant takeover of Texas. It's like, come on. Yeah. Well, let's all calm down. On a different note, how good is your Paisley Park connection still? Not very. Because Alabama Shakes is supposed to be performing there tonight in a little pop-up concert that they announced. So, so they had their concert on Saturday at that Halls Island venue, so they inaugurated that. And now it sounds like they are going to be over in Chanhassen tonight. It starts at 7:30. And so the tickets were only $35, but it's first come, first served. So you know that those are going to be gone, absolutely gone. And I didn't make it to the Alabama Shake shows, but I had friends and they said it was fantastic and the photos were great. Well, because we talked about on the Thursday deck show, that I didn't recognize Halls Island. Yes, I mean it's a new venue, venue. Good. This is the first show I believe that they've had. Okay, there. Good. Yes, it's a new venue. I thought, what a dumbass! I've never even heard of this place. No. So new outdoor venue. I think it's funny that we in Minneapolis are so proud of ourselves now that we are continually popping up outdoor venues now where they're like, put it outside. So, okay, good on you. I'm glad that we are now trusting Mother Nature. So I wonder what the Paisley Park connection is then. Prince has got to have a thing for them then, if he's letting them play at their place. I mean, because it sounds like it's going to be... Well, I think that the Third Eyed Girl folks were at the show on Saturday as well, so maybe they were just scouting them out ahead of time. So, I mean, if they're going to... it does seem really cool. They're going to be at Paisley Park, because you're right, not everybody gets to perform there anymore. No, so that's typically not a air quote club that you play. No. There's got to be, of course everyone's going to be holding their breath going, when's Prince coming out? Yes, and maybe he will. He might just stay in the background until somebody notices that he's standing there, and then he'll scurry away. Here's my guess. He has fallen in love with Alabama Shakes. Has an infatuation with their sound. So he said, come here and perform at Paisley Park. Let's just see if we can't mind meld on some music. It's a possibility. You never know. Well, either that or they had Shannon, you do. No, Rusty, you and me, we're going to deliver a birthday cake together. I tried that one. We'll do dueling. We'll see if either of us can manage to work some magic. It's an inside joke.
Well, it's not an inside joke because Rusty did a thing, but he delivered a cake to Paisley Park.
I did a story for Channel 5. The first year that Prince did a birthday week,
right?
It became like an annual thing for a while. So the first week, and that was when he was the symbol, the artist formerly known as.
Correct.
So I went around and interviewed people, and then went to a cake shop and had them put the symbol on the cake, and then I went to Paisley Park cold call, seeing if I could deliver the cake.
And so he shows up at the door, knocks on the door, and the poor mope working there is a friend of mine who was working as the security guard. He goes,
I left it with him.
I said, I'm on a show with Rusty Gaming. That douchebag tried to deliver a cake for some prank. I go, it was TV. Come on, lighten up. He was so mad.
Oh, jeez. That's because he interrupted his day and he didn't get to eat the cake.
He likes chocolate. You gave vanilla. Douchebag.
He sounds like a douche.
Yeah, some people have no whimsy in their life at all.
Yeah, trust me, there's no whimsy.
Well, that sounds very cool. So what time should we be there, Shannon?
Let's shoot for 6:30, just so we have time to kind of work some magic if we need to.
I have a screening tonight of Entourage.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing whether that's good or not.
That's I just recently found out that's French for entourage.
Oh, very nice. Thanks for sharing.
Ari Gold, one of the great TV characters, based on an actual Minnesota person. He went to McAllister College.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So there was a real life Ari Gold.
And you had already said, I didn't get around to seeing San Andreas this weekend. I was on my list to do. I didn't do that either.
Did you like it?
Well, you know what it was? It was sorry, did I cut you off, Shannon?
No, you didn't.
Disaster porn. I love these kind of movies, but it was like, it's like the planes, trains, and automobiles of disaster movies. Starts in a helicopter, then he's in a plane, then he's in a truck, then he's in a boat. I waited for Steve Martin and John Candy to pop up, and
The Rock ended up in all these different vehicles trying to save his family from this epic earthquake.
But other than that, it was incredibly realistic.
Made a lot of money. That movie.
Did it? I
yes.
didn't check the box
Like
office.
50. I know it came in at number 1, so that one actually made a ton of movie, and it bumped, it threw Tomorrowland out of the way, which everybody expected, so that was out of the way. So I mean, the timing was good on The Rock's movie.
Did you go to a big screen with the 3D glasses and that?
No, my daughter won't watch the 3D, so it's not even worth it. But we went to a big screen. Non-irregardlessly, we went to a big screen, not the 3D, but it was good. I mean, it's a great venue to see it.
Yeah.
So
seeing the Golden Gate get twisted up, and all the buildings fall.
Is it one of those things that I need to see it on the big screen? Or can I wait?
Yeah, no, you need the sound.
We talked about that on the Rusty Gate review yesterday, and Jennifer was like, "Oh, you should just rent it." I go, "Well, but
is it not
going to
work?
miss it out because it's like the big screen thing is what it's all about."
Because there are some movies that you can hold off on, and so every time another Grand Budapest Hotel movie comes out, it's like I can go, "Oh, wait," I need to be able to hit pause, kind of thing. But
this movie was pure formula. It really was.
Okay.
Like, the usual setup and everything's peaceful. There's a love interest and blah, blah, blah. And the one scene that got me, the most cliche of all, the waves come. I'm not giving anything away here. No spoiler. There's a wave that comes and it eats everything up. And so this old couple's like, "Oh, we're about to die." And they look at each other and hug because...
Oh, see, now I'm wait. I don't need anything like that. I'm looking forward to... I love Dwayne Johnson.
He works out, by the way.
The show that he's going to do coming up on HBO, the HBO series that he's starring in.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that now. And so San Andreas, this doing well has helped go, we're really going to do this TV show with him because he hasn't done anything like that before. So they're really going to go, we're going to go full on and know that he could probably anchor this series and it should do well.
I was out on a Friday night and I said, mark my words, in 10 years, and I'm willing to take this bet, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will have a nomination for an Academy Award.
Ooh, but
do you think he's that good? I mean, I think he's good.
I think he's a good actor.
I didn't say tomorrow. I said it's 10 years within that next decade.
Here's why I will give you that. Because since he can do other types of films and he kind of thing, he doesn't just do comedies and he doesn't just do these action. I mean, and the comedies that he does do, and I'm trying to remember, was it Get Shorty that he was in?
Yeah, he played like a gay security guard.
And when he was that's what reminded me. I'm like, he really could carry off different he can play a character.
Pain and Gain.
Exactly.
He had a great, I don't say great, I think he did a good job, but not a great job, where he had a cry and there's a nice intimate moment
in San Andreas.
Yes. And he did I don't think it was phenomenal, but I think it was pretty good and believable enough.
Can you make yourself cry? I can't make myself cry.
I can't.
Chuck can make me cry, but
Yeah.
I can't make myself cry.
Oh, I
So,
can't.
Yeah, San Andreas brought $53.2 million, looks
Hey.
like, so far, is what they said. So,
I know we're out of time, but
We have some tweets we got to go over here.
part of the review that we did, Arnold Schwarzenegger has a movie out, a very small movie called Maggie, where his daughter...
Is that the zombie movie?
It's a zombie movie, but it's not like a zombie movie.
Right.
Basically, it is what would you do if your daughter became affected and was going to turn within a 2-month period? Would you turn her over to the government where they basically put you to sleep, or would you guard her and be with her and you're going to be the one to kill her when that time comes?
This is like if anyone watches The Walking Dead, this is the governor's story right there. Yeah. That's incredible.
And this is Arnold's, and
Love it.
Arnold's in this role where he's not. He was actually too fit for the role because he's not asked to hit, punch, or do anything. He's asked to act. And he actually does well.
And this is what I think we should do is we can put up both trailers. We can put up the Maggie trailer that actually has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, and then the Lego movie remake trailer of it. We'll put them side by side on our Facebook fan page. Because the Lego movie remake of that, there's a
on
Lego.
The
yes, and it's fantastic. You're like,
really?
kind of thing. So I'll link them both up. You'll love it. You'll love it.
What's bothered me about this whole movie, and I like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he got really predictable because there's one scene in the movie. Have you seen it yet?
I did see it.
Where he tells his daughter's like, she's turning and he needs to feed her and she needs food, and he looks at her and goes, "You wait here, honey. I'll be back."
No. Sorry. What's going on tomorrow on the show?
Oh my God! Tomorrow. Guess who we have? Wait,
there's some tweets actually coming.
Yeah, we have a couple tweets. Number one, our commercials did not play, and we were live, so I'm sorry that I.
We're swearing and yelling.
The button.
No, the button is unpushed. I don't know what happened. No idea.
Chuck happened.
They were playing in our ears. Everything was fine. So sorry, sponsors.
Does any of our sound play tonight?
Yeah, everything's fine. So I don't know why our commercials did not play. So
okay, what else about the tweets?
And then we got retweeted here about the information that we were going to have a victim. So I said, an apology tweet, and I threw Rusty under the bus. He says, all Rusty's fault. And so I said,
I never said he was a victim.
I know.
All right.
I blame myself.
You guys work all this stuff out. I'll be back on Wednesday.
Yes, you
I have to work on some stuff tomorrow.
You are missing
Courtney is coming tomorrow.
Yeah, and you're missing a phenomenal interview. We have this guy. There's a Twin Cities Pioneer Press interview with this guy. His name is Zachary Scott Johnson. He just did his 1,000th YouTube, his song a day. There's been a lot of press about this guy, and he'll be on the show tomorrow. His guitar.
That's cool. Yeah, and Courtney McLean will be back tomorrow. All right.
It's like a little reunion for you guys.
Oh, for nice.
All right. Well, it won't be the same as the Good Company reunion.
No catering.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on the Twin Cities Hit Show today. Shannon, you have fun tomorrow organizing your charity golf event?
Yes, Spare Key, the Go 96.3 Spare Key Golf Gala comes up on the 19th, so we're in crunch time for it. So we're getting some things together.
Do some crunch.
So nice.
Chuck, please get your shit together.
That's asking a lot in one day.